This video is sponsored by Photographers Edit, the company that I use to outsource my post-production. Packing up to go to the wedding today. We have a big hike ahead of us, so I don't want to bring too much gear. So I have my Canon R6 with my Samyang 85 1.4 and my Nikon Z6II with the 24-70. 2 cards in each, and that's it because it is a legitimate long hike, and this is pretty heavy. This is actually lighter. This 85 prime, lighter than this 24-70. A lot of glass in here. Should also mention it is in this Peak Design bag and have a rain jacket down at the bottom here. That's all. Let's go. That's a really nice car. What do you do for a living?
Just pizza delivery. It's really lucrative. It's been crazy. Lots of pizzas being delivered, and just thankful I get to do this thing.
Today we're on our way to Lion's Head, and it's a 5.5 hour drive? 9 hour drive?
Depends on if you're going to Lion's Head, which I think is in South Africa, or if you're going into the one in Ontario.
A 1.5 hour hike into the location to do the elopement, and then a 1.5 hour hike out, and then a 5.5 hour drive home. Simple day. Alex, I brought you a memory card.
This is the 1 gigger.
Please enjoy.
I will shoot their entire elopement on this. Got like an hour-and-a-half hike.
50 pounds on your back. Did you bring the one wheel?
I don't have the one wheel today, unfortunately.
Gee, oh,
that's the good stuff, boys. Handle with care, please.
Catch up to you in a way that I understand. I'm in the headlights, you are running.
It's kind of nice that you can see yourself. GoPro's definitely improved over the past few generations. Really bright out today.
What's really going on with this truck? This is some X-Files stuff. We're out here, southwestern Ontario, en route to Lion's Head Provincial Park, and we are going to do some photography and video. And here comes Jeff with the Red Bulls.
Yo, Red Bulls, boys!
2 for Jeff, 1 for Alex, 1 for I. Welcome to scenic Harrison, Ontario. Population 1,800 and 1 Domino's Pizza. I'm going to do some voiceover while we do the things because there's music playing, and unfortunately, due to copyright, I cannot play that music for you that's happening in the room. Here's me taking a photo through a window. Don't do this. This photo is useless. Go outside. Don't be lazy. That said, sometimes I do like shooting through obstructions like this natural frame that we found. They hung the dress so perfectly, and it just worked out. Now we're outside to take some less useless images, and this is what they look like. It's an establishing shot. I'll call it that. There, that's better, but again, it's a weird time of day. And I apologize for screwing up literally every single possible GoPro setting in my GoPro 9. I screwed all of them up. This was set for a snowboard shoot that we did out west, and I have a bunch of GoPros and I grabbed the wrong one, and I didn't verify because I'm an idiot. This is Alex setting up his drone to grab a couple establishing shots over the water. This is the DJI dance that all filmmakers and photographers are familiar with. This is a time to mention it, but make sure if you are flying a drone during a wedding day that you have all the legal documents required. Those documents change depending on province, state, country, city sometimes, and make sure that you have them and that you're flying legally if you are flying during a wedding day. And a few getting ready images. Still on the Samyang 85 1.4, pretty much shooting everything entirely at 1.4. I really, really love the look and feel overall. Also, the sharpness on the things that you actually want to be sharp, like eyes, are absolutely fantastic. So great combination. Alex is getting prepared for the hike by drinking his full, 500 milliliters? Chocolate milk.
Yeah. This guy knows how to hike, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm hydrated.
Huge mistake.
I love it when people hang out in great lighting and makes my job so much easier. And then Jeff's just, I don't know, where's Jeff? He's out in a field or something. this week on In the Field with Jeff, a new show. I think he's on a phone. Maybe looking for frogs. No, it's a phone call. It's a nice photo. It's your new album cover, man. Another thing to mention here is if you are doing photos in a provincial park or a state park or national park, or is an international park a thing? I guess it probably wouldn't be. It probably stops at national. To make sure that you get the proper permits required, commercial film / photography permits are usually what they're called. It would be the absolute worst if we did this hour-and-a-half hike and run into a park ranger at the end and he's like, "What's up, nerds? Like you can't do this here. That's against park rules," and they could turn you around. I'm sure that you'd be able to negotiate something on the spot because you're already there, but make sure you just do it before to save that ever being a problem. Hey, it's Colin Mockery. Just Canada things. Don't worry about it. And a few quick candids here, and then we are actually going to begin the hike. And because it's not an easy hike, I don't think. I'm not that experienced at hiking, but it was pretty challenging. So we're going to film and do some photos for the first few minutes, and then we are going to put our cameras away and actually focus on not falling over on the trail.
Stay up here, chew.
One tip for photographing people in forest is to photograph them in clearings similar to this so that their skin tone isn't just all tinted green and it's difficult to correct.
17-kilometer hike. Alex is feeling great. He's got his snacks. He's got his Crispers, Werthers, FX3, Mavic, A7R3, 2 bottles of water.
Everything you need for a hike like this.
Here we are. And over here. Probably should have brought a strap today.
I find I have more accidents when I actually have a strap attached to the camera rather than no strap. Also, special day. Usually you don't get to do getting ready photos of the officiant, but Jeff Mack is ready today. This is actually him getting ready. I don't even think he's posing. This is just his face. This is what he does.
On the business.
On the business, on the business, business, on the business, business, on the business, on the business, on the business, business, on the business.
That's a song I made a while ago. This is Jeff elegantly swatting flies and now thinking about that he just doesn't want the flies around. And now telling Alex that he doesn't want the flies around. Now, usually for the guys getting ready, they're in whatever hotel room is the most difficult to photograph in whatever city we're in. That the girls get the beautiful oceanfront Airbnb, and the guys are in the room with no light and making it very difficult. Today, though, they're getting ready on a cliff. This is the most ridiculous getting ready location of all time. The girls are in the trees a little bit, getting ready over there.
Yeah.
All right, so everything that you can see in front of us here is all of the space that we have to work with, and it's the lighting isn't the worst it could possibly be, but it's not the best, I would say. It's coming from a bit of a weird angle, so we had to sacrifice and have the guys kind of standing facing into the sun. We also had some guests that were kind of off to the left of the camera here that didn't really move, so we could have kind of rotated a little bit differently had they gone, but with them there, we're kind of doing the best we possibly can within the environment that we're given. I feel like that's kind of all wedding photography is. And as the girls are coming up, I'm trying to get them in the shade, so there's a little piece of shade as they kind of hit that first step right there. So I'm trying to get that shot so they're in good light before they're just in kind of getting blasted by the sun. Fortunately, that there is kind of an upper stratosphere level cloud that is diffusing the light a little bit, but it's unfortunately not doing a whole lot right now. So it's making some directions not so great, and it didn't really look like we were going. It looked like it was just going to be consistent light for the entire ceremony, whereas usually you can see kind of a cloud floating in. You're like, okay, I'm going to grab all the shots that I need of the guys when that cloud comes in, but we didn't really get that. This is about as good as we got. So wide shot looks pretty good. Close-ups of anyone that's facing away from the sun also look good. Tip that I have for, I guess, photography when you're kind of forced in situations like this is that you can do close-ups when it's good light, but on his side specifically, I'll stay a little bit wider because a close-up is just going to reveal kind of all the harsh light, and it will really distract from the actual image. So I'm going to shoot some wide shots that look a little bit more like this. In 3, 2, 1, like this. And then I'm going to wait for just a little bit more cloud cover to get the close-ups that I need. I will say that as somebody that usually would shoot a ceremony on a 70-200 or an 85 or maybe a 50 if it's a destination wedding, getting really close and getting really wide really makes you feel like you are in the scene, and there is definite value in it. You have to kind of balance it with what you're comfortable with, what your clients and your couples actually also want, that if they don't mind you being this close in this situation, there's literally no other place that I can go, so I have to be close. But know your boundary between protecting kind of the guest and the experience of the actual wedding day, and also getting the frames that you want. I feel like being on a 35 and getting a little bit closer and shooting with 35 will give you pretty much the same look and feel as being literally right over the groomsman's shoulder with a 24. Today, I feel like that's fine. On a normal wedding day, I feel like I would not want to be doing that, especially if there was a big audience behind me, but today there is not.
We can be excited about that, yeah. We can cheer, we can be excited about that.
All right. Ceremony complete. It's very easy to get candids of everyone because everyone is in a very confined area and they're all in relatively good light. I typically park myself wherever the best light is, and I just kind of let people live their lives, and eventually they usually end up in a situation where they're in the most photogenic light possible. That said, the light is getting very, very good. We're in a bit of a unique situation here where the fact that we have an hour-and-a-half hike out of here requires us to leave a little bit before sunset. Obviously, the best time up here would have been at exactly sunset or even a couple of minutes after, because last light is probably even a little bit after sunset technically. But unfortunately, we can't stay that late today. Family photos are in very good light. I've stopped down to 5.6, f5.6, just to make sure that both layers are in focus. Best case is obviously to have everyone's eyes on the same focus plane like this image, but in some situations, too many people, the ground's a little bit uneven up here, so you have to build a second layer. I also do my best to give both a horizontal and a vertical crop of the image, which means I just shoot two. I don't crop the same image two different ways and shoot it extra wide. I'll just do one of each, and that's usually kind of my process for family photos. There are a number of different ways you can process images from a scene like this. There's a lot of color and a lot of dynamic range in it, and you could make it an HDR image where you bring all the sky in. What I found was that it kind of balanced the best like that even though I let the sky kind of clip out a little bit, that it did make the image kind of feel a little bit nicer overall. That's just my take on it. You can edit however you wish. The sun got so soft that I actually just used it as a direct light, and I'm very, very happy with that image. One more in that lighting scenario. There are, I would say, a finite number. There's a somewhat limited number of things that you can do with a couple in a space like this, that the lighting isn't changing dramatically. You can't really get them to walk around too much because the ground is just so uneven and crazy. So we're just kind of doing the best we can up here as the sun gets better and better and better. And at this point, I'm actually going to switch back to my 85mm 1.4 Samyang and the Canon R6. Get a few more dreamy bokeh style images. And that's all. We call it a day. And we hike to the car and we drive home. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope that you found it valuable. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comments below and I'm happy to get back to you. I want to say thank you to today's sponsor, Photographers Edit. They're the company that I use personally for my own image outsourcing. Outsourcing my post-production was probably the best thing that I have ever done for my business. And if you want to scale a wedding photography business up to 60 or 70 weddings a year, it is an absolute necessity that you have somebody that's got your back like Photographers Edit. How my workflow works with Photographers Edit is that I come home from a wedding, I put every single image that I took at that wedding into a Lightroom catalog, and I send it to Photographers Edit the night of the wedding. From there, they make all of the image selections as well as they do color correction on the images that they've selected. And when you sign up, they will work with you to create a profile that looks exactly like your images as though you edited them yourself. And quite honestly, they probably do a better job than if I was personally editing all of my own work. If you're interested in giving them a try, there's a link in the description below, or you can just use the promo code Taylor Jackson and you'll get 50% off your first order. That is all for today. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not yet subscribed, and click the like button if you don't mind. And I'll see you again next time. I never really know how to end these still. One day I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll just